Hello again, everybody. Welcome to Another Man's Nostalgia, where we revisit everybody's favorite shows, movies, and games from the mid-90s to mid-2000s. Don't worry, we will take the bullet.
I'm John, and I'm the good-looking one of the group.
I'm Chris, and I'm the drunk one of the group.
I'm Justin.
All right. So this week we took my bullet, and it was Boy Meets World, Season 1, and I loved it. Okay, but I'm going to be honest with you guys. Let me talk about it first before we start getting into it.
Okay.
So I would watch this show every day after school, just like
Power Rangers.
But mine was a little different because we literally went to my neighbor's house every day after school, me and my sister, and they had a girl that was my sister's age, and they played with. No, not that I remember.
All right.
She wasn't memorable. She wasn't hot.
No.
This is weird.
And they would go play with Barbies, and so would I. No, and I would sit in the living room and I would just watch.
I'm not surprised.
I'm
not surprised if you played with Barbies.
I would just watch afternoon television.
They're action figures.
Yeah, it probably was to them. And so I would just go in there and watch television, and literally at 4:00, Boy Meets World would come on, and I had to run into their room to get them because they like to watch Boy Meets World also.
Oh, okay.
So I literally watched it every day.
You were the errand boy.
I was the errand boy. Yep. That's what happens when you're a younger brother. So, honestly, though, a little bit, I kind of cheat on this show. I've watched this show most recently, it's probably 7 years ago, my freshman year of college. I watched this show all the way through. So it's not like I haven't seen this show since I was a kid.
So did you watch the whole show when you were a kid, and then you just rewatched it when you were in college?
Yeah, I mean, I pretty much saw every episode when I was a kid because I saw the reruns, but then and I watched the actual show and it was on once a week.
Okay. Did you ever memorize any of the show? The lines?
I mean, I pretty much memorized. The ones we just watched together,
yeah.
I've had those things memorized.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I love it. It's so good.
I watched it not as religiously as you, but I watched it when it came on. And then because you gave me legally gave me the files.
Of course, it's legally, yeah.
Legally gave me the files, college as well.
I do own all the DVDs, so I don't feel bad about that.
Yeah, but legally we attained them, and you gave them to me, and I was like, all right, I want to rewatch these. And I probably rewatched it I was probably a couple of seasons behind you at the same time. We never really talked about it, but
right.
I did watch them again. Yeah, I really love these shows. I don't have the encyclopedic knowledge that Chris does.
Right.
But they were a huge part of me growing up, just not as much as you.
Right.
I honestly didn't know how popular the show was until I started watching it.
Yeah.
And I Googled just best 90s shows, and it was the top 10 easily.
Yeah.
I remember when Disney Channel reran.
Well, Disney Channel rewatched.
That's when I really got back into them, because they usually reran the later seasons, which in my opinion are the better seasons.
Yeah, they are,
because it's just they're more fully developed, and they're just a lot funnier. I think it's a different. It was obviously a humor that I got because it was around my age at that time.
Well, John, you embarrassingly told me last week that I made you watch some episodes, and that was very embarrassing to me. But you know what? I don't feel bad about it because it's a great show.
I mean, it is. It is a really good show. I was very surprised how good the show actually was.
You asked him that?
I forgot that I made him watch episodes with me.
Why would you have to make it?
It was...
I don't know. I made everybody watch everything. It's kind of my MO. I make people watch TV shows and movies that I like.
I mean, that's how I got started with The Office.
Yeah.
I would go to your house, and you'd probably show me an episode of The Office every month at least.
I think the first thing all three of us bonded over was Heroes, though, because I came into the fold a little.
Heroes was good.
Later.
I don't know what year that came out.
It was freshman year.
Yeah, Heroes came out when I was in high school.
I think it's when we really bonded was over our weekly talk about Heroes.
The first season. Second season was
okay.
It got bad.
Was it Sylar or Cyrus? What was his name?
Sylar was the first season.
Sylar, Zachary Quinto.
Well, he was in all the seasons.
Yeah.
There's only 4.
Boy Meets World, guys. We're talking about Boy Meets World, the best show in the world. Honestly, though, like it goes for me, The Office and Boy Meets World. Like it's one of my favorite shows. It's so good. Okay. Anyways, fun facts. You want to hear some fun facts?
Let's do the fun facts.
I'm really excited about my fun facts.
Fun fact.
Sorry.
No. Please.
We're doing the fun facts. The fun facts. Yeah.
All right. That's different than last week.
With your index fingers?
I snap with my thumb and my pointer finger.
And your okay.
Is that?
I can't snap with my...
How do you do that?
Because I can't snap with my thumb. Y'all should know this. I can't snap with my thumb and my middle finger.
I don't think I've ever seen you snap until today.
That's because I put them down because people make fun of me.
I've never seen that before.
I mean, I'm making fun of you right now, so it's a good thing.
The mini things.
When you do that, you look like you're missing a finger. You look like you're like you have some nubs. Okay, all right. So fun facts.
That's why I don't say
anything. I guess we have a fun facts theme, even though it's different than last week.
Fun fact.
Okay.
Whatever the theme is, Justin needs to snap.
Justin sing it. Justin, sing the theme of Boy Meets World.
Not right now.
Come on,
Come
Justin.
on,
No.
right now.
The full minute and a half long. Did you like the intro? It's like 2 minutes long.
Okay, when it came to the theme song, I thought it was so annoying at the very beginning, but it grew on me.
It grows on you. Yeah.
I like this
Well, yeah, that's later.
Or
on.
the when it's Boy Meets World.
Yeah, every season has a different theme.
Yeah, I have no idea what you're talking
No,
about.
I thought the last couple of seasons had the same Boy Meets World theme.
You're right, it does. It does. The last 3 seasons.
That's my favorite one because that's probably the one I've watched the last few seasons.
How many seasons are there?
7.
And the theme song changes each season?
Each season. Well, except for the last 3. But some of the footage changes. And then the 4 seasons.
Yeah, it's a different season.
But yeah. That's good.
Okay.
Okay, fun facts. My first fun fact is probably my favorite fun fact. So, as anybody that's ever watched Boy Meets World knows, there's a lot of consistency issues in the show. And we'll go over some later. But at the first, what they were trying to do was they're trying to make 3 friends. Corey, Sean, and a third. And so if you know,
they were trying out
different people. So if you remember, the first episode has the white kid who sits on the side. Their main points were going to be at lunch. So it was like Corey, Sean, and then a third kid. Second episode was the black kid. And there's a third kid who, if y'all remember the class pre-union episode where they all dress up like what they're going to be when they grow up, he's the one that dresses up as Mr. Feeney. So they were always trying to try him out. And because they kept trying to try him out, Corey and Sean started calling it, like the guys who played them, called it the death chair. Like, because whoever sat there never came back.
So the actors, that's what they were calling it? That's
the death
funny.
Chair, yeah. And then they decided just to keep it with just Sean and Corey. So the reason the show...
They're a really good pair.
They're a really good pair.
They have a really good chemistry.
They do, especially at such a young age. So the show started because Ben Savage plays Corey, right? Mm-hmm. His son, wow.
His son.
he got moving.
Wow.
His older brother is Fred Savage, and he played the main character in The Wonder Years about 5 years before this show. And like he won like an Academy, like he's the youngest, or not Academy Award, he won an Emmy as the youngest. He's the youngest actor to ever win an Emmy. I think he still is. He was like 10 years old. He was the same age as Ben Savage was in this show. So they are like, okay, well, let's make another one that's like the same kind of thing where he's the center of attention.
Okay.
So that's why. But anyways. So yeah, Death Chair. Love that trivia fact.
If you can't tell, Chris is so excited
I'm really
about
excited.
this.
Okay. So
I don't think he has not stopped smiling since he started talking.
I love it.
It's really creepy.
So what did y'all think of the? Let's start at the beginning. What did y'all think of the first couple episodes?
I liked it. It had a really good meaning to it. All the episodes do really like a good job of getting their message across. I like all the characters. I don't really have a problem with any of the characters. Maybe some of the things that they do, like when it comes to them making fun of like the nerds. Like I didn't really get ever made fun of when I was in school, but they're like bullies.
Yeah, they are, especially with Minkus. Yeah.
So they kind of get away from it towards, I guess, like the later episodes in the season.
Well, they kind of develop Minkus more too.
And they kind of make Sean, or is it Sean? No, that's his friend.
Yeah, Corey.
Mm-hmm. They kind of like give him the lessons of, hey, you shouldn't be doing this to people that are different.
Yeah. I thought when I rewatched it this time that I never really noticed before, and Justin might not like me because of this because he's a teacher, but I feel like Mr. Feeney was kind of a jerk. Like, especially towards the beginning.
Because he gives it across that he hates him.
Yeah. And you're not
really supposed to do that when you're a teacher. You're not supposed to say, I hate this specific student.
And he gets frustrated at them for not liking Romeo and Juliet, or he yells at them for not watching the presidential debate or something. It's like, they're 11 years old. Leave them alone. You know what I mean?
It's also it's tropes to have them, give them something there.
Right.
It's just funny.
Yeah, I guess so.
But you always have that teacher who's kind of a little standoffish to you. But you still like them because
right?
That they care. They're just that's just their personality that shows you. Because as you go through the seasons, you find out that Mr. Feeney's just kind of got this wall against him. He doesn't want to break that student-teacher relationship.
He's a misunderstood character.
Yeah,
I don't think he's misunderstood at all. Really? I think that's just his personality. He's very he's very passionate about what he teaches, which is apparently everything and at every grade.
So he's living through Feeney right now.
Yeah. So what you don't know, John, is that you might have known, but literally every single season, Mr. Feeney is their teacher.
Yeah, I knew that.
So he teaches all the way through college.
Which I don't know how it happens, but it's kind of weird.
He has his PhD because he teaches in college, but he also teaches 6th grade history. So I don't know how that happened, but somehow in there he does both.
You couldn't get rid of Mr. Feeney anyways.
Oh, he's so good. His voice is incredible. It's so good. He's a great voice.
He's just a great character in general, just because he's that mentor to him. But he's not like a really lovey-dovey mentor. He's very, I'm an adult, you're a young adult, a child, or whatever.
Right.
This is how it needs to be.
The writers did a good job of putting him next door.
Yeah, that was a good part. Yeah. And he didn't want to do it. The guy who played him, William Daniels, he didn't want to play. He didn't want to be in the show because he felt like all of the kids shows at that time had teachers and they just made fun of him. And so he didn't want to be a stupid teacher. So they kind of explained no, you're going to be a smart a good teacher, and so
they feared him, but they respected him at the same time.
Yeah,
which and like I said, he's an awesome just character in general, just because of the way he interacts with all the people on the show.
Yeah, he's great.
Was he ever your favorite character throughout any of the seasons?
So I'm not going to lie to you. I'm a grown man. The last episode,
you're a grown man.
I'm a grown man.
I got a little teary-eyed too.
Yeah, I cried at his last line in the last episode. I won't tell you what it is, but I was
cried.
Oh, I still cry.
All right, so did you cry? Did you cry when you were younger, and then you cried when you rewatched it, or do you not remember
last time I
how
watched,
you reacted when you were little?
The last time I watched the last episode, I cried.
I remember the finale. I watched the finale live.
Yeah,
too.
I mean,
it was a big
It's
deal.
a great ending.
I got emotional when it came to The Office. When it came, yeah.
But his last line his last scene is just...
It perfectly encapsulates who Mr. Feeney is.
Yeah.
That scene. And if you've seen it, you know what we're talking about.
John, I know you're really tempted.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
I know you're really tempted to have us watch all 7 seasons back to back to back so you can watch that last scene, but you got to hold off. We'll get there.
It's really worth it. It really
Oh, you got me.
So what did you think of the parents?
They reminded me of my parents, honestly.
Did they?
Yeah. My parents, I think they're pretty cool.
Yeah.
Honestly.
The dad is the best dad ever, I think.
Yeah.
He's so great. And the mom's pretty hot. So in that way, she does remind you of her parents. Sorry.
No.
I had to say it.
No. That's not what I was going for.
What?
Thanks for making it awkward.
I'm sorry.
That was really weird.
No, but you don't think she was good looking?
I mean, yeah,
She was a hot
but
mom. Well, what's weird, and it happens earlier on in the show, and I don't like it, but it gets better towards the end. But the mom at the beginning kind of weirds me out with Eric. I don't think it's supposed to be weird, but she's really into his dating life, and he's talking about hickeys in front of her.
yeah, that was kind of weird.
It was weird, right?
My parents never really did anything like that, but
I think the dad, besides Mr. Feeney, Dad's one of the best characters. I didn't really care for the mom that much. She was fine.
Yeah.
She's a good character, but I never really I didn't care too much because I thought the dad had always had some of the most important moments.
Right.
The dad,
Which makes sense. It's father and son. It makes a lot more sense.
Right.
He's kind of like what you want to grow up to be.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
That kind of like a super, like, and
Yeah.
they say it in one episode, like he's a Superman.
Yeah.
And you kind of think that, hey, like I want to grow up to be that dad that can balance his job and balance his kids and.
It's good with all of them.
Exactly.
Because in a lot of this, because he's absolutely not perfect, especially in some of the later seasons, especially when it comes to interactions, especially with Sean.
He gets like angry and stuff.
Yeah, you can tell he's not a perfect person.
Yeah.
Because
okay.
Yeah, because I don't want to spoil anything, but there are interactions where he actually doesn't like Sean.
Yeah.
Points.
Yeah.
He doesn't think he's good for Corey.
Right.
But then he comes around. He figures it out.
Well, he did that in this season where he kind of sits him down. And he's like, "Hey, I don't think Corey is like a good friend for you because he's kind of like me."
But it's opposite.
Right.
But it's opposite in the other seasons. It's where he kind of turns on Sean, and it's just because of Sean's the way Sean acts and the way Sean's background is. But he turns around on him. So but then there's parts. And I hate to go to later seasons, but it's just the reason why I like
first season.
I'm sorry, but it's just the reason I like the character because he does, even though he does that, he stands up for him.
Right. Which I think
So
It's really hard. It's really hard to not to go forward.
right.
I don't really have a favorite character when it comes to the show.
Mm-hmm.
I have like favorite characters when it comes to each episode. And
Okay.
He was like my favorite character when it came to, I would say, about half of the episodes that we watched.
Yeah, he's really good. I think my favorite. I mean, we'll get a little more into it. I have a couple favorite episodes, but probably one of my favorite episodes is the second episode when he paints the fence. That's just a good episode all around. Like he wants him to be a kid. Be a kid as long as he can be a kid and not.
They all have really good meanings.
Yeah, they do.
All the episodes really do have good meanings.
Who's the character you think you most
Relate to?
relate to? Who do you think is you in the show, kind of?
See, I'm kind of on the fence about this because I know in later episodes I kind of saw myself as Sean because I remember the episodes that you used to show me.
Uh-huh.
And I don't know about now. What would you think?
Well, Justin, you're Minkus, right?
I mean, you got the glasses, dude.
I'm later seasons Corey.
I think I'm Corey throughout the whole thing.
I'm later seasons Corey just because he's a little.
But what about the first season, Justin?
No.
That's what we're talking about.
First season? See, it's really hard. We should have done just a marathon. The first season.
I'm the sister.
God.
But they're one-liners.
Her zingers. She had the zingers.
I hate that you don't like her.
We'll get into that. I don't like Morgan. I'll talk about it right now. I don't care. I don't care how old she is.
Is this a later season thing?
She's like 4.
No.
She's so cute.
That's why I
How do you
don't
not like her.
I have a problem with these shows and movies when they have like a 4-year-old who says things that 4-year-olds don't say.
It's the Full House effect.
Exactly. Nobody says those things. I have a 5-year-old nephew and a 4-year-old nephew. They would never say anything like she says.
That's what kind of makes it funny because
All it is a girl that's reading lines. That's what it feels like. Because
But at least it's not done to the extent of Full House that was.
No, it wasn't.
In Full House,
No.
I think it was done to ad nauseum.
Yeah, because at first it was Stephanie, and then she got too old, and they made Michelle do it.
At least with Morgan, it's maybe once or twice an episode. She doesn't really have a big role in it. She's just there, says something funny,
Yeah.
moves on.
she's like Creed of
She is like Creed. So I don't know. You
From
probably
The Office.
You don't know. This.
Creed from The Office. He has like his one-liners, and
Yeah.
I think they're like the funniest lines of the show.
So let's talk a little bit about the inconsistencies because I love the inconsistencies of the show.
Oh God.
So first because
Is there any inconsistencies in the first season?
nothing that they say in the first season, but
Besides the rotating
when it comes
thing
to
of
later,
friends.
it does. Oh, first off, Topanga was not supposed to be a full-time character. I don't know if y'all knew that. She was supposed to be Corey's first kiss and then gone.
You can tell that it's because it says guest starring.
Yeah, it says guest starring Danielle Fisher. She's supposed to be gone after that episode. Isn't that weird?
What brought her back?
I mean, everybody loved her. So
Wow.
She's a great character.
That was like what they considered the first like good episode is the episode when he like has the hair. You know what I'm talking about when he straightens it and then
She kisses him.
Yeah, so there's a lot of inconsistencies.
Spoiler, John, they kiss.
I saw it.
There's a lot of inconsistencies.
Very romantic.
About the show, but it's not really in the first season. You realize it later. So Sean's sister, Topanga's sister, gone.
Goodbye.
No longer.
His sister was pretty hot.
She was right. And it was good for Eric. But yes, Sean doesn't have a sister anymore. Topanga doesn't have a sister anymore. They both become, well, Sean doesn't become an only child, but that's later. And then, so
Topanga
Morgan
becomes an only child?
Yeah.
What?
They just never mentioned the sister again.
Well, okay, well, did they say that she's an only child?
I mean,
or did they just not mention it for the rest of the time?
Move and stuff, and like the sister's never mentioned or anything.
That's a really the one where her parents moved was a really good episode too.
So the best inconsistency, though, I think, well, there's two. First is Morgan. So you like Morgan. In the second season, about halfway through, she disappears. Then she comes back in the third season as a different character. She's like 3 years older.
What?
It's awesome.
So it's not the cute little girl
It's not
anymore?
the cute little girl. I mean, she's cute.
It's different, but at
She's
least
like- she
the
comes back as
time
like-
skip made sense.
Does-
right?
Right, because, okay, so then,
Does she still have those lines like she does, or no?
yeah, she does.
Or they kind of changed
Yeah,
her
she's still-
character?
she's
She
always-
does, but she's older, so it's a little bit different.
She's
lines.
always been a little sassy.
She's edgy and stuff.
Okay.
But then also, here's the grade school they go. They go 6th grade, 7th grade. Third season is 8th grade / 10th grade. Fourth season is
So they just completely skip 9.
all of a sudden he's 16 in the 4th season getting his license.
Okay.
And then the 5th season is the graduation. The 6th season is the freshman year of college. 7th year is graduation of college. So
Okay.
they skip about 4 years total in the span of the entire show, which kind of makes sense.
Do
for
they
Morgan.
talk about it?
Nope.
Do they-
Nope. They've never mentioned
It
it.
is-
You just go with it.
Does it
Go
ever
with it.
pick up like where the season before left off, and it just completely doesn't make any sense because they
No.
lost 3
It's
years?
not. It's not very serial.
There's no cliffhangers.
Yeah. Okay. So that's what I was trying to say.
it ends and then the next season's different. And
Okay.
it kind of makes sense because, I mean, like Corey looks older. Like he doesn't look older until like the 4th season, and then all of a sudden he looks old. Like he looks like he doesn't look like 8th grader when they had the 4th season, which is what he was supposed to be, or 5th. I guess he's supposed to be a freshman. He looks older, but anyways,
He looks older than an 8th grader.
yeah.
Okay.
So
it's
they
not.
make
It's
him-
not too big of a deal because the way they handle it is fine. I think. And
Yeah,
Jimmy's
yeah.
never say anything.
Yeah, they didn't.
But it doesn't really matter.
But it's weird because like Eric and Corey like graduate college at the same time.
that's a whole other thing to talk about.
anyways, we'll get to that. So Minkus leaves. You don't know this yet. Minkus leaves after the 1st season. He also disappears. He never comes.
Does he ever come back?
He comes back for one episode, and it's like a cameo.
He's also in Gromy's World.
He's in Gromy's World.
Why
But-
does he?
So the writers-
why does he leave?
His son.
the writers literally said they couldn't figure out a way to incorporate him in because you'll notice the second season becomes a lot more edgy.
Mm-hmm.
It becomes like a high school type show, not like a Full House type show. You know what I mean?
Who is this show like aimed towards? Was
I
it
think
aimed
it's
towards?
like-
Was it aimed towards kids?
I think it's like teenagers.
It was-
I think it starts as like a 6th grader. I
It
think
was
it's supposed to follow
TGIF, so it was kind of a family thing.
like a preteen. Family,
Okay, because they were saying like some.
kind of sexual jokes. The parents.
Yeah, they were saying some kind of sexual jokes.
Because it was
The-
TGIF.
They were saying also like kind of more grown up type of like words, and I was
Yeah.
like, if I was in like 5th, 6th grade, I don't know if I would have kind of followed some of this stuff.
Yeah.
Do you remember
But-
that block on Channel 8, ABC, TGIF?
It was like
That's-
Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
You had like the dinosaur show.
Yeah.
You know, not the mama. That show. Remember that show?
That was Michael Jacobs also.
Yeah.
It's the same creator.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
Sabrina,
Yeah, I remember that.
Sabrina the Teenage Witch. What was the Urkel show called?
Family Matters.
Family Matters.
Yeah.
All that stuff was on Friday nights.
Mhm.
So it was
That
that kind
sounds so familiar.
You didn't watch that?
of. You don't,
No.
Really?
No.
That was pretty big.
John
like-
was
I was too cool.
John had a lot of dates and stuff Friday nights.
Yeah, he was watching Dragon Ball Z.
yeah.
How did they fight this episode? Nope. Oh darn.
Another good
Playing video games.
inconsistency is Topanga's parents. First off, their names change a lot. I think he's always Jedediah, but her name changes a lot. And they come into the show later seasons, and they're always played by different characters. Like I don't think once they're played by the same 2 people.
I do think it's kind of funny though, because changing their names would be something their parents would do.
Yeah,
Changing the characters, their actual actors, not so much.
right.
But I don't think I remember them being as important until she runs away from them.
Right. Okay, let me tell you Sorry, I said earlier that my chair of death was the best trivia. This is the best trivia. So Danielle Fisher.
Please tell me.
So Danielle Fisher, I feel bad for her because like we talked about it before. So there's a scene where she takes off her robe and she's wearing a swimsuit, And
That was so awkward.
It's kind of
Weird.
awkward because she's like 12, and the audience doesn't quite know what to do. They're like, yeah. They say,
So yeah, it starts off with like two people say it,
and then dies.
and then there's a very awkward pause.
Yeah.
And then I think was it Sean that said something, and then everyone's like, "Ooh!"
Yeah. It was very weird.
It's really
It
weird.
was really weird.
But anyway, so I feel bad for her because I feel like she was kind of like sexualized at a young age. So
Well, I think the audience like knew that they were supposed to say it, like
Right.
the "ooh" when
Right.
she kind of unveils herself, and then
yeah.
like they didn't really want to
But,
because
like,
It was weird.
The boy's reaction was
well,
fine.
she's really 12.
Right. The boy's reaction was fine.
Makes
It was
sense,
funny.
but I don't think you need the oohs and ahs. That's,
Right.
That's a little creepy.
All right, so listen to this great trivia. So I feel bad for her.
You just told me that was the best trivia.
No, I was saying.
No,
Where's
he
the
was
best
just he was
I
just
was
talking
starting
about it. He was just
So
talking about
Danielle
okay.
Fisher, who played Topanga, dated towards the end of like when she graduated high school, Lance Bass, who you may know as the NSYNC singer who came out gay. Okay. So they dated for like 2 years, I think. So like later on,
Was that his last girlfriend before?
I
he
think
went-
so.
Really?
So yeah, so it came like
Sorry,
later
Topanga.
on, like she couldn't find work, right? Like she like was famous for Boy Meets World. It ended. None of these people became anything really. Like none of them became like big successes after this, right? She goes on Oprah, and this is like right after Lance Bass comes out. Justin, you're a big Lance Bass fan. You don't know when all this
No.
happened, okay? So
I'm just looking at
anyways,
you like confused. I'm like, what?
so he came out.
Justin's shaking his head like he's following everything that Chris is saying.
Yes.
Yes,
Actually,
I know
it was
exactly
March.
when this happened.
I don't like false actions being told about
Okay,
in the
so
podcast.
anyways.
False actions.
So she's not finding work, and Lance Bass doesn't want to talk to the media or anything, but she decides that she wants to. So she goes on Oprah, and if y'all are listening to this, please go on YouTube and watch the Oprah interview with Danielle Fisher about Lance Bass, because it is painfully awkward. And she goes like super long detail, and Oprah's like, oh, like trying to like.
How's that funny?
It's so awkward.
You're a terrible person.
It's so painful.
If you don't know, Chris laughs at a lot of awkward things.
I know that,
It's
and you're a
painfully
terrible person.
awkward.
And that's why, because The Office, like, it kind of has that awkward humor.
Yeah, it's
and that's
got the
why Chris
At least
loves it
that's
so
fake.
much.
Anyways,
You're a terrible person.
it's just weird that she got so.
Danielle Fisher,
So
if you are
deep, so
listening to our
emotional
podcast,
about it.
I'm
She
sorry.
probably is. I'm so sorry. There goes one of our 5
He
viewers.
just winked.
Our 5 viewers was
Chris said he was sorry. He just winked at me.
my mom.
He didn't wink.
My mom. So we decided that our 5 viewers is my mom. Or is y'all's mom listening to this?
No. Why would she?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
She's that cool mom, remember?
John's mom. Sorry, Miss Nigo. I said something about you on the podcast. Maybe 2 of our friends and Danielle Fisher, and now we lost Danielle Fisher because I told her story. But
Daniel Fisher.
So thank you to all
Please
4 of
come
our
back.
fans.
so now we're down to 4 fans.
I'm begging you, please come back.
Maybe 3 if John's mom's mad at me.
Thank you, all 3 of our fans.
There you go. What'd you think of Eric?
I don't like Eric
mean-
this season. Mostly because I like him later.
He's fine.
And he's not
He's
bad.
a player.
He's a player.
He's a player.
John relates.
I do.
He's not bad. He
I went through my
He
player
definitely is
phase.
Oh, we
my
know.
player phase that
Oh.
I had.
We know you did.
he's definitely a good brother.
Uh-huh.
You know, he plays the big brother role pretty well. I just don't like the way they developed him afterwards a little bit, just because they took that away from him.
Yeah, they took the brothers.
Because I really thought the way he treated Corey and everything, that was pretty real to how a big brother would act to a little brother. You know, did you think so, John? 'Cause
Yeah,
you
I
don't
mean,
really-
I'm a big brother, and I kind of treated my little brother similar, but it wasn't like spot on.
you like
Right.
harped on him, but you were still cool with him.
Yeah,
You know, Chris doesn't have this.
Nope.
He's the littlest.
Little.
He's the smallest.
little brother.
John, you thought that you looked like Tommy, the Green Ranger, in the first episode. Do you feel like you look like Eric?
I mean, I got the hair. I got the luxurious hair that he has.
All right. Again, John does
He
not
just
look like Or
he
Tommy.
always okay. So Sean and
Okay.
Eric always does like the whole hair. Was that like a popular 90s
I think
thing?
it was. Fun fact: Sean hated his hair. But in the second
Like,
season,
for real, like
he wanted to cut it off. But in the second season, he became like an actual like heartthrob to like girls, and they would not let him cut it.
And to Chris,
and to me, I had a big Sean pillow.
All right.
And you had your poster in the room.
Poster of Sean and Eric.
Oh, yeah, that
Say goodnight to every night.
My Sean poster. But no, so they wouldn't let him cut it, and he hated it. And he had to keep it, I think, until the 7th season they finally let him cut it when he was like older and he was no longer a heartthrob. But him and Eric both were. And actually, him and Eric...
Ryder Strong, I'm sorry. He just
Sean and Eric?
What?
Is that what you're talking about?
Yeah, they both like had the long hair and they wouldn't let him cut it.
So which one are you talking about that is the heartthrob? Sean?
They both were.
No, but which one are you talking about that
Sean was the one that
couldn't cut the
Sean
hair?
was the one that was a heartthrob that couldn't cut his hair.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
How could you not tell, John?
Because he did this a lot. He put his hair back a lot.
Yeah, he would always put his hair back.
Eric and Sean, like the actors, are like best friends in real life.
That's
awesome.
cool.
Yeah.
Well, like the last episode that we watched, it was
the Boy Meets Girl episode where Corey and Sean finally go through their hormones. And like it's a pretty good episode.
And Eric kind of takes Sean under his wing a little bit when it came to, I guess, girl advice.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and it gets more, but I think they probably had that to bond over as actors that they both were like heartthrobs. Eric actually dated.
I like that you keep saying heartthrobs.
What? Like little teenage girls?
It's weird.
Heartthrobs.
Teenage boys too.
It's a weird.
And at least one teenage boy.
It's a weird word. It's making me uncomfortable over here.
I'm sorry, I have a crush on Sean and Eric.
On both?
Well, I can't decide. Depends on the day. But yeah. So I don't know.
You gotta leave some for us, man.
You're right.
Okay, so what was your favorite line, Justin?
My favorite line from the first season?
Yeah.
Not the 6th season, which I know you keep trying to talk about.
I hate you. I know that. Man, I don't think there was one line I really liked because there was a lot of just rapid fire quips. You know, I can't really think of one thing. I know my favorite episode is probably the 2nd episode still.
The fence.
Yeah, the fence one.
It's a good episode.
I still think that's a good episode. But I can't think of a line.
I think I don't really have a favorite line. My favorite episode though is the last episode we watched, the Boy Meets Girl, or The Fugitive, where Sean blows up the mailbox.
Yeah,
that's a good episode.
Well,
I was just gonna say, one other thing. So like they kind of start hinting in this season that Sean like doesn't have like a good home life, like his dad loses. So another fun thing you'll notice, like especially later on in the show, like whenever they're at lunch together, he always has like a heap of food on his tray. Like he's supposed to be shown that he doesn't get a lot of food at home, so he like stacks his food on the lunch, or stacks his lunch food from like school.
I never really noticed. Did you?
It gets more prominent as the show goes on.
Okay, yeah. I know he asked for like another mac and cheese,
right?
Like in one of the episodes, but that was the only thing I noticed.
What about your favorite show? Your favorite episode?
I guess I have two. One of my, the favorite kind of lines was when the parents were talking about the Santa collapsing.
Oh yeah,
they were kind of cracking up. I was cracking up with them. So the background story was the little sister Morgan went to go sit on Santa's lap, and the Santa had you don't see this, like the parents are just talking about it. And she sits on Santa's lap, and apparently Santa had a heart attack while she was sitting there, and it kind of traumatized her because
she thinks she killed him.
Yeah, she thinks she killed Santa, and Mrs. Claus was giving him like mouth resuscitation. And
what was the elf calling her? Demon child? Or something?
It was the demon child because you killed Santa. It's like the parents, they're like talking about this and they're cracking up. I think it's hilarious.
It's so true, and I love how she goes. He turns purple. He lets her go. Grabs his chest, yells Rudolph.
That was my favorite line.
It's a great line. Yeah, that's a good episode. All right, because then like the thug elf comes to the house.
Yeah,
he's like the elf.
So they're just talking about like the elf, and she tells the parents that he called her a demon child.
Right.
And then he knocks on the door, and then there he is. He's like, "I'm the elf."
And he looks like
he has like a Boston accent.
Yeah.
So that was a good line, and then it's not really a line, but it's a reaction about. Okay, so we just watched the last 3 episodes of what we were supposed to.
Yeah, we kind of skipped some episodes. I kind of just did the episodes that I really enjoyed. So we watched 15 of them.
Yeah, it was the last episode that we watched, the one that you were talking about, where they kind of start talking about their hormones and everything.
Boy meets girl.
Yeah, so he touches Topanga, and he just starts giggling. And before, Sean touches a girl, and he starts to giggle. And
Corey doesn't understand.
And Corey doesn't really understand it. He's just kind of like, "Oh, this is awkward, dude. Like, you're kind of scaring me. Like, what's going on?"
Until he met the love
of
his life.
That's right.
Him and Topanga touch later on in the show, and he starts to giggle. And it's like the most awkward giggle I've ever seen in my entire life.
And then he catches himself and he closes his mouth because he realizes what's happening. It's a good scene.
And then he does it 3 more times.
He really was a really good actor in this.
He was, and so what Justin was kind of hinting at about later seasons is he becomes a lot better because he starts out in this season as a boy's boy. You know what I mean? He likes baseball, any kind of sport. It's not his fault, but I feel like because his voice hasn't changed in anything right now, he yells his lines. I don't know if y'all felt that way, but I feel
a little bit, but
yeah. Anyways, but then so then he starts out, and then the second season they start talking about how Sean becomes really cool and he becomes a nerdy kid, you know, and then he just takes that and runs with it. The rest of the show, he's super weird, super nerdy, but it's a good, it's lovable nerdy, Corey, and it makes it really good.
I always really connected with the weirder, nerdier Corey.
Yeah,
I think just because how awkward he is.
Yeah, I mean he has some great one-liners. So,
but one of my favorite ones is when he's I think he's talking about there's something special about me, and he's at the celery.
Yeah, he's a poster of celery
behind him.
It's later season.
I'm sorry. See, you can tell how much we like. The show.
I feel like I'm doing my job here. Just talking about the first
Well, that's
season.
just because it's all you've seen. You have nothing else
to
go.
That's how great the show is.
Okay, so tell more than fun facts. I got it for you. So the Kids Glove episode is the episode when his dad gives him the silver gloves.
Yeah,
and he loses them to scuba diving.
Yeah.
So in the scene, he's looking for the silver gloves. And have you ever seen the movie The Graduate with Dustin Hoffman?
I don't think so.
Anyways, it's an Academy Awards movie. William Daniels, the guy who plays Mr. Feeney, was his dad in the show, and I think he won some awards for playing his dad in the movie of The Graduate. So there's a scene in the movie, and they remake it in the show when he's doing the scuba diving, and it's all first-person point of view where he's looking for it, and he comes up in the water to Mr. Feeney.
Yeah.
It's a shot-to-shot image of what they do in The Graduate, which is funny because it's the same guy.
Okay. All right, so what was your favorite relationships in the show? Was it just...
It's Corey and Sean.
Really?
I think. Well, I mean, in the first season, it's probably Corey and his dad.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Corey and Sean, definitely.
What about you?
I like Corey and Eric. I like their relationship. It's kind of like I think it is spot on when it comes to a brother.
Yeah. Y'all can
brother
I can, yeah.
Relationship.
You know what relationship I really like? I like the relationship in the episode when Father Knows Less, when Alan has Corey stay up late because he misses a game or something with him. He makes him watch that thing. The relationship between the dad and Mr. Feeney is really good in that episode. When they argue and stuff, but they still respect each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's a good episode.
I feel like I would be that dad though.
Yeah.
I was thinking I would probably make that mistake as well.
Yeah, I would too. Especially if you miss something. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
When it came to the things that you hated about the show, what was it? Other than the theme song.
Theme song's long.
Theme song was pretty bad.
Morgan.
We've talked about Morgan.
Yeah.
No. I don't know. I think it's just...
It's a symptom of the times.
And like I kind of said last week, so they, and a little bit this week, I feel like in the first season, they really tried to make this show a Full House show. It's supposed to be
they mentioned Full House
a lot.
That
is something I don't like about this show. They have a lot of references, and they kind of stopped doing that later on, but a lot of references are dated. They mentioned a couple actors in these last couple episodes we watched.
I didn't know who they were.
I had no idea who they were. And they mentioned shows and stuff, and I was I don't know what that is. But
So
it was. I just felt like every episode had to have a moral, and they do it later on in the seasons too, but it's a little more hidden. I feel like this one's like, the end of the episode, we have to resolve. Corey has to learn a lesson. I feel like it gets better.
That was very TGIF though. That was the way those shows were structured.
It was, but it becomes a little bit more like edgy and stuff.
Yeah, it definitely they had some way to make themselves different, because I think if they would have kept it the same way, this wouldn't have lasted more than a couple of seasons. Because you had Family Matters, you had Full House, you had all these almost 80s-ish sitcoms in the 90s, and they had to evolve.
That's true.
Because I think this was later 90s, 96, 97?
No, it started in 93.
93? Okay, I couldn't remember exactly when it started.
Were they promoting like those shows? Were they on the same network?
Mm-hmm.
They were?
It was all on ABC, and it was like from 7 till like 9. It was just like 4 shows.
It was a block of comedy shows, basically.
I'm just super surprised you've never heard TGIF, because that was huge.
They had like a theme song and everything.
That was a big thing.
Do you remember it?
Yeah. Well, no, they had like different things.
It was like TGIF, something like that.
Yeah, that definitely was.
Or was that the Fridays restaurant?
No. You're right.
Okay.
You're exactly right.
Okay.
Because that was a pretty big deal.
Okay.
That was a big block of programming.
I don't know why.
Yep.
I don't know why I don't remember.
Do you have anything else to say?
The bullying, when it came to the
really
different characters, it really did bother me a lot. I guess because like I've taught before and I've seen that when it came to like some of the popular kids bullying some of the nerds.
Yeah.
And it really got on my nerves seeing that.
Go ahead.
No, it's just that like kind of Feeney, he kind of bullied some of the kids too.
Yeah.
And that kind of bothered me. But that was something I didn't like about the show.
It was definitely just a symptom of being a school grade show, like a middle school 6th grade show.
Yeah.
But the good thing about the show is that it evolved. Not only with, I think it was ahead of its time in some ways, but it also evolved. It figured out what worked. So you did see people, come in and out. You saw things. Okay, we don't know what to do with this person. Yeah, they don't really write them off very well, but they get rid of it to make things better. So I think as it went on, they kind of learned who they wanted to be, and they stuck with it. Because once they found something and they stuck with it, I think it was great.
Well, and honestly, it backfires hard on Corey in the 2nd season because he gets picked on. He becomes like a senior boy, like picks on him, and it's done funny. It's done in a humorous way where it's not like, but you know what I mean, like.
So he kind of learns his lesson when it comes.
In a way, like he just becomes like the one that's bullied.
Do you think it's very realistic when it comes to the show? Like when it comes to like a school setting?
Not really.
I
think we're also more aware of bullying nowadays. We don't treat it as funny as we used to.
Yeah.
We now understand the consequences of bullying. So it's not, we're not going to just make fun of the nerd, because there's really not. We don't really take a kid like Minkus as a nerd anymore, because it's kind of a big thing to be a nerd. Isn't really a nerd anymore.
Right.
A nerd in the case now would be like a social outcast.
Well, and so
do you think? Go ahead. Do you think this show would last like now? Like, do you think they could air it without getting any problems?
They do air it, but no, I don't
like
know.
It's a new show.
Once again, later season, talk about there was some very Christian undertones. Too.
It
was very light.
Yeah.
But there were Christian undertones. And nowadays I don't think people would like that.
Right. There's so they came out with Girl Meets World. It's kind of a good example of that. And it's very similar. Mm-hmm. And they have the Corey type character who's the main character. They have a Sean type character who's the girl best friend. And then they have a Minkus type character who actually turns out to be Minkus's kid. And his name is Farkle. And
which is kind of funny.
It's exactly what you're talking about. He's nerdy. He's very annoying, especially to them. But they're like all best friends. Yeah, they don't pick on him.
They don't really. Yeah, they don't pick. I mean, they make fun of him, but it's in really haha, we're all friends way. Like we would pick on each other.
And the show is terrible.
Which I think in the first season here, that's what kind of was, because they did talk to him. It's not like they ignored him.
And they had good scenes. Like he did wish him like a Merry Christmas when Corey paid for his
There's some heartwarming scenes
With
when it comes.
Minkus.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's obviously a completely different dynamic than we're used to seeing, but I think they were friends. They just weren't friends in the sense that we think of nowadays.
Right.
They were very they ribbed on each other a lot, but they were also, I think, not as respectful of each other.
Yeah.
I mean, they were kids.
Yeah.
If this was happening in high school with a kid, that would definitely be hardcore bullying. But the way I think they portrayed it, it didn't look good nowadays, but I did think it's
humor. It's humor. I know it is.
And it's 90s humor for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because the 90s humor, that was funny. I mean, almost every show kind of made fun of somebody at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Final thoughts.
Final thoughts?
Final thoughts, John. You're the only one who can't talk about later seasons, so give us the final thoughts on you.
I mean, overall, I like the show. Okay. Honestly, that's probably the. But I like Dragon Ball Z too. So I can't say.
Yeah, the
We're not
bar
talking about
is
Dragon
low.
Ball Z right now. We're talking about Boy Meets World.
Oh my god, it's Dragon Ball. No,
yeah.
You're right. I don't really have a lot else to say about the show. It was a good show. It had a really good meaning, and I liked the characters in it. There was not a character I didn't really like or had a problem with.
So would you score it?
I scored, yeah. I would like to watch some more seasons.
I got a point. The first person to get a point on the podcast.
I think this was intentionally set up because the way I'm trying to go for it is I'm trying to pick shows you may not want to watch.
Okay.
Why are you doing that?
Because it's funny.
Well, okay.
I'm picking shows that I just like.
This is
what I liked as a kid.
That's what you're supposed to do, Justin.
But I think Chris is doing this just to get the points. This is what I'm trying to
because
get
it's a great show and
I'm
I
not
watched
trying-
it.
Well, it's okay.
I didn't know John was gonna like it. I knew you would like it.
Yes, you did.
Okay,
you knew John would like it.
Hold on, Justin. What was your favorite show growing up?
My favorite show?
Yeah.
I don't know the exact favorite show I had. To
Arthur?
be honest with you. No, not Arthur. I don't know my exact favorite
Barney?
show. No.
NSYNC goes to concert or something.
Why are you attacking NSYNC?
You and Lance Bass.
What's wrong with NSYNC?
Nothing. It's just
Lance Bass.
You Lance Bass t-shirt.
I'm more of a Justin Timberlake guy, to be honest with you.
Okay.
But anyway, I
That's
can't
more
really
JC, but
I can't pinpoint. I think my
Is that
favorite
why
show.
you're wearing that Justin Timberlake shirt right now with his face on it?
Yeah.
That's weird.
Lance Bass in the back.
Okay.
Blowing everyone a kiss.
I wish I could talk and give my point.
I'm
here.
sorry. Go ahead.
So I didn't really have an actual favorite. I don't think I can pinpoint a favorite show. I can give like my five favorite shows. I think
Is Power Rangers
I would
on
really
that?
like. No, I don't think it is. Because when I think of my 5 favorite shows of all time, maybe just growing up, I think of actually decent, good shows. Boy Meets World is definitely in my top 5.
So Barney.
No.
Okay.
Don't make us rewatch Barney, Justin.
But
Sesame
once
Street.
again, I think this was rigged because he knew
It wasn't rigged.
I can't say no to this because he knew I watched all the seasons.
I'm not in it for the points.
He's in it for the points.
Honestly, I just want to rewatch the show.
But
And it's a
I
good
will.
show.
But I am going to say this. I love Boy Meets World so much. I could quote a lot from it. I identify with a few of the characters. I like the relationships they build. The first season is not my favorite season. It's probably my least favorite season. But that's
I would agree.
That's
It's my
really-
favorite season.
But having a least favorite season in your favorite show,
Not too bad.
it's not too bad. So points.
Yes. So,
All right, so okay, I picked my favorite show when I was little.
Right.
I picked Dragon Ball Z.
Right.
And you picked your favorite show when you were
Right.
little. You picked Boy Meets
Right.
World.
That was my favorite show when I was little. I'm talking about my favorite show of all. I'm
talking about favorite show when we were little. Was it Power Rangers?
Yeah.
mine was Boy Meets World.
Okay.
It's okay.
The way you were saying it, it was like it wasn't Power Rangers at all.
I think
You were
I
like
think-
just doing it to be
I
funny.
I think you think it's rigged because I won.
I still think this is rigged.
Right, I'm the winner.
Because
He's being a sore
I could have
loser.
also chosen Boy Meets World as well.
Well, you didn't. I chose it. That was my very first choice when we talked about what we were going to do the media-wise. I said Boy Meets World. It's my favorite show growing up.
I hate you.
Chris does talk about it a lot.
I know he does.
Yeah.
So it
Which
would
takes
just
away
make
from me.
it would make sense that he would pick
You're
it.
being a real minkus right now.
I am. Okay.
All right.
But yes,
So-
I'll give a point.
So
Rigged.
I
So-
say we're going to watch another season.
So 1,
Well,
0.
I get 2 for both of you.
Yeah, see?
Oh, you get.
Yeah, you're not very happy now.
I'm changing my vote.
See?
I say it's a no.
No, you
got on to me, and now you're not.
You get a
happy.
point for each person, and then I don't lose a point because I'm going to make us watch season 2 eventually.
I say no.
See what you did?
I have it on audio that you said yes, and I'm keeping that. I'm going to edit all this out.
Yeah, edit all it out. Yes, that's good. Edit it out.
Well, no, I'm going to edit this part. And I'm going to superimpose you saying, this you get 5 points for how good it was.
That's not what I said.
That's what I think you said. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do, John, I think we're going to watch your movie.
We're going to watch my movie. It was the Even Stevens movie that came on. It wasn't even in theaters. Like, it was just on TV.
It was a Disney Channel original movie.
Yeah,
they had some good Disney Channel original movies
Look,
back then.
we could do a whole series over Disney Channel original movies.
Uh-huh.
There were some really good ones when we were kids.
You loved it. You said you watched
I
it.
used to watch it every time it came on TV, and I would go crazy.
I've seen Even Stevens. I can't remember the movie.
I think I've seen the movie once when it first came out.
Yeah.
So I'm familiar with the characters. I love those characters, but I'm not familiar with the movie.
His sister was my first crush.
Was she really?
Yeah.
She
Like
was
Kim was your first crush when.
She was Kim
I mean,
Possible.
Oh, she was. Yeah,
She was the voice of Kim Possible.
Yeah, she was.
So my problem.
Friedel was the voice of Ron.
The voice Eric in Boy Meets World.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, he was Ron.
I used to
does
like that show. Kim Possible, I used to like that
he was
show.
also-
I used to kind of was embarrassed to
Batman
watch
He was
it.
also Batman Beyond.
Oh, that's cool.
He does a lot of voice acting now.
Yeah, it is.
I was embarrassed to watch that series sometimes.
Kim Possible?
Because
There's
I
a lot
felt
of-
like it was
there's
kind
a
of
lot
like
of
a
girl power in
girl
it,
type
so-
of show, but
Yeah.
I really liked
I
it.
didn't. 'Cause
So-
I liked Rufus the Naked Mole Rat.
So
We can do that later.
So we can
never.
Even Stevens?
Yeah, we'll
Even
see.
Stevens.
You said, well, we can talk about it next week. I'll keep it safe for next.
So we invite you guys to actually watch that
absolutely
movie too,
Yep.
so you can kind of follow along with what we're actually talking about.
Find it by any means necessary.
So all three of you.
We're not saying do it illegally.
But find it.
So all three of you watch it.
Actually, I think it is on iTunes if you want to rent it and be a good person. I'm pretty sure I saw it on iTunes.
Yeah,
once.
yeah.
Because they have like a full list of it.
I will totally,
Yeah,
I'll totally rent it from iTunes.
You don't have to. We're going to cover it so well, it'll be like you're watching it.
We'll maybe do some of the voices.
Maybe some of the voices. We'll act out some scenes.
I'm sure it has some type of theme Justin will sing.
Justin will sing the theme to the.
I don't like this stick.
Okay, so yeah, we'll watch that. That'll be good. And then so we also have a email and a Twitter that
And an Instagram.
If you guys want to recommend, because
We have an Instagram?
We have an Instagram, Justin.
I don't
I've
think-
taken like 50,
So why don't we
50
say-
pictures of you already.
why don't we say what one of them are so they can.
Why are we being so creepy?
So you can go to anothermanspod@gmail.com for our email, or you can go to
And the Instagram is going to be AMN Podcast.
okay. And I don't know, do y'all have Twitter?
Do I have a Twitter?
Yeah.
I have a Twitter.
So
yes.
how do you say this? You have like the Twitter handle. Is that right? If you want to reach us, is that what people say?
I'm guessing you don't have a
I don't have a
Twitter.
Twitter. So the Twitter handle is Another Man's Pod. So that's where we're at.
We will personally like any of your tweets.
Yeah, if you're looking for friends.
So
We need more.
Yeah, the best thing you can do is just to tell somebody about the podcast, as we say every week. See if we can keep this thing going. I think it'd be pretty fun.
we do have a lot of fun doing this.
We have a lot of
every
fun,
week.
and that's kind of the main point of all this, right? We're just trying to have fun.
Yeah. After this podcast, I feel like I'm the Sean of the group.
Okay. Because you look like him.
I do look like him. I got the hair.
Really?
I got the coolness.
Oh, so are we doing who we are with the group?
I feel like I'm the Sean of the group.
I'm definitely be Alan, the dad.
You're my. Oh, you're not my dad. That's awkward.
Do I even need to ask y'all
Minkus.
who I am?
You're
Yeah,
Minkus. We've already discussed this. You're
No.
Minkus.
You're either Minkus
Say I'm Justin
or you're
I'm Minkus.
or you're the black guy who who disappears after the second episode. But you made it to episode 3
You know what? This is
of the
episode-
podcast.
This is episode 3.
Justin's gonna disappear at episode 4.
We're gonna act like he was never here. Just keep talking.
Yeah, remember that guy that talked about Power Rangers for
Nope.
like.
All right, sorry.
They're going to cut this out.
We'll see. Okay. Well, thank you guys for listening. See you next week.